right. So the first question was, how did I get involved in music?
Yeah, how did you get started?
Oh, okay. Well, this is actually my very first band. So growing up, my dad was super like into rock and roll, and he actually worked for a radio station for a while in Kansas City. And he would book bands like Kiss and Deep Purple, and was way into that. And then he moved over to the film industry. My mom, bless her, I love her, but she loves Adele, if that gives you any kind of inclination. So,
Adele has some nice range.
Yeah, she does. Like growing up, my dad would take me to concerts, and I think my very first concert was ZZ Top and Joan Jett, and he put me on his shoulders and everything, so I was a little kid, and he was always very supportive of me, really loving bands and being involved in music. But I always wanted a band. I never had voice lessons. I tried guitar lessons. I just wasn't into it. And I think it got to, was this like 2.5, 3 years ago now, where I think I finally figured myself out enough to be confident enough to say, okay, this is what I want. I need to find the players, and I didn't want like a pay-to-play thing. I wanted to find like a family. And that's kind of how it happened. And all of these guys just kind of like started coming into my life, really, and it all fit into place, and they're my brothers, like, and yeah, that's a really long answer, but I talk a lot.
Answer.
I talk a lot, so yeah.
So how long have you guys been together as a band?
Well, we didn't all start together. So originally it was me, Josh, our drummer. Well, yeah, that was the very first bit, and kind of weird that a singer and a drummer come together, right? But Josh was probably the very first person who was actually nice to me when I started to go around Hollywood. I didn't have any friends, and he was like the first and only person who was really cool. And so we talked about what we wanted to do, and Josh's musical library is very different from mine. Josh comes from a very like technical death metal background, and he's been in bands that are like blast beats all the time. And then here I was, and I was like, do you know who Janis Joplin is? And he's like, huh?
I knew I heard some of that in there.
Yeah, and so I was like, Janis, and like Fleetwood Mac is my absolute favorite band, and Stevie Nicks is like, huh? And so I kind of wanted to do something that was in that vein, but harder. And so that's where Andrew came in. I actually met Andrew on OkCupid. We went on a date, and we decided we liked each other as more than just to date each other. We had the same kind of musical interests. Andrew is just like me. He's like, I think we started listening to Uncle Acid together, and we are very much in that kind of like 60s, 70s stoner-y doom. Dan, I actually met 2 years ago today at Amoeba Records. He was in line in front of me, and he was just visiting from Pittsburgh, and he had a Graveyard shirt on, and I was like, it's a cool band. He's like, yes they are. And then we ended up going to a show that night and became great friends, and he played guitar, so boom, he's in the band. And the last missing piece was a bassist, which was actually the hardest person to find, yet somehow Jared, who is our bass player, I've known longer than any of them. I've known him since I was in high school, and he'd always been in other bands, and we'd never really like been able to kind of mesh it together. And we started talking again, and I was like, this is the project I have, this is the music, because we recorded Blood Cauldron without a bass player. And so we had everything, and he was just like, oh my god, yeah, I want to be in this. And came to a couple practices, the guys just absolutely like loved him, and so he's in the band. That's how it happened.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it all kind of like fit into place.
I love stories like that.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
I always ask bands how they came to be, and it's always something so rigid, like, oh, well, I held auditions.
Yeah, I put an
Why?
ad on Craigslist.
Make friends.
Yeah, ours is like a big family, and we all have each other's backs, and we all have very different musical tastes, which I think kind of lends itself to why our band can't really be put into one certain category, because like, yeah, it's kind of a culty and goth, but it's not goth music, and yeah, it's like bluesy Janis, you know, 70s, but it's more than that, and it's kind of doom stoner, and yeah, it's like a lot of different things. So that's why I'm glad that we all kind of came together and can add in different aspects of what we like.
So from inception, if you decided, okay, I'm ready for this, to now, how long has it been?
3 years, probably. Not very long. Yeah, probably only 3 years, and that's like maybe even longer than it is in reality. 2.5, 3.
What is the largest crowd you guys have played to so far? Like, who have you opened for that's been like super exciting for you?
Well, actually, the largest crowd that we played to, we didn't really open for anybody in particular. It was, it's a festival called Wasteland Weekend, and it's a huge, like, Mad Max apocalyptic festival.
I think a couple of
So it's so cool. If you have not gone to it, look it up, because it is so sick. It's basically like what Burning Man started as, and now Burning Man's like very corporate and hippie. Whereas Wasteland has, I think it's a 4-day event, and it's in the middle of the California city desert. And you drive out there, you're not allowed in unless you are dressed up in apocalyptic gear. And thousands of people go to it. They camp out, they make tribes, and it's like literally going into a time warp. And so we got asked to play there last year, and this was right when the new Mad Max had come out. And so it was the biggest crowd that they'd ever had. And they made a stage out of like an old truck flatbed, and it had pyro and everything, and like that is the one way to make you feel like you're really cool, is if you have pyro. So that's probably the biggest crowd we played for. I can't even tell you how many people were there, because it's like an outdoor spread out thing. But yeah, usually our bigger crowds are ones that we do in LA, and we kind of curate ourselves, because
That's
we're
amazing.
really big on not doing pay to play, and basically getting with bands that are our friends and kind of making a family out of bands in LA, because LA is a tough scene, and either you are accepted or you're not. So yeah, but we'll just do certain events out here. Maybe one of the biggest was we did a Toys for Tots benefit, but we kind of flipped it and made it like a Krampus themed.
Nice.
And so it was us and a couple of bands from LA that we are friends with and are different kind of genres, and a lot of people turned out for that, and we got a lot of toys donated, so it was good for charity too. So yeah, I think that's it. Actually, that's like kind of a two-part answer. So Fleetwood Mac is my all-time favorite band. That is where we get the band name from. So if you're familiar with Fleetwood Mac, you know the song Sisters of the Moon. And so I heard that and I'm like, yeah, but we're a little bit harder than Fleetwood Mac, so it's going to be Black Moon. And then the of, you'll notice it's kind of a weird spelling. It's O-V instead of O-F. And the O-V is actually, now we are not black metal at all, but we all really like black metal, so that's kind of like our nod to Norwegian black metal.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of the CDs.
I know. Yeah.
I
yeah.
think she would be very appreciative.
Oh, I hope so. Because the first show we played, I was like really trying to emulate her, and I had like the hat on I usually used to wear, and I had all this stuff hanging off my mic stand. And hi people.
What's up?
Give me the name of the one you want. Now make it sold. Wherever you go, you reap the little ones out. Give me the sigil of lust. It's surrender your heart to the wish you try.
Well, we haven't heard from you yet.
Ring, ring, ring.
Yeah, that.
Josiah? You say who you are?
Oh, I'm Josh. And I play drums in the band.
I'm Sasha, and I sing.
I'm Andrew, and I play guitar. And I was
So
just,
enthusiastic.
I play guitar in Sisters of the Black Moon, and it's great.
I'm Jared. I'm the low-end rumble wizard. I play the bass, the bajo.
Bass guitar.
Yeah, I play the bass.
And so he just caught it out of the river and just
Yeah.
plays it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it hurts my soul.
Dan, I play the guitar.
Okay.
Well,
Hello.
how did we
Crazy
all get
bitch.
involved?
So
Actually, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
no, she's less of a diva than most of some of the band members I've had before that are guys.
Just a little
Sasha.
diva.
You're catching her in the nights. If it was after any other show, I would be on this floor right now with a boot on my
Take it.
throat.
Whatever
That's
that
kinky.
thing
But
is.
out
there.
of love, like.
So not true.
That's kinky.
So
Sounds
not
like
true.
it.
It's so not true.
But we love Sasha. We love Dan, and we love the rest of them.
Yeah, I said we were like a big old family. If we were from the South, we'd probably be brothers and sisters and husbands and wives.
There'd be some incest
There's probably be some
Yeah, I
incest in there. It'd be a little gross.
Definitely have another finger.
We get a little banjo player in the band.
I could see it.
Alright,
Do you guys
so-
have anything to say about how you guys got together or your goals?
It's funny that you asked that actually because it's 2 years ago today. I met this one right here at Amoeba. Did she already say this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause you had a graveyard shirt.
I'm rehashing the story though,
That's
but it was still
good.
cool
Yeah.
though. Yeah, but we connected just like the stars aligned, like Saturn was in line with hell or something.
Angels sang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something.
Actually, they threw up.
Actually, Bombas sang.
Yeah, we went to go see
19.
Bombas. If you probably never heard of Bombas, but
Bombas, check them out, Sweden.
they're really good. They
I
have
do
a
like
new
the
album out,
Swedes.
and it's so good. And they are ripped, and they take their shirts off when they play.
Oh well, then I'm definitely into the sweets.
It's like big,
It's a
hairy,
oily
like
mess.
Viking
That's
men. But yeah,
kind of night.
we both happened to know who that band was, which was kind of funny since we went to the
Yeah.
show and there was like literally no one there but the other bands.
Yeah, it was
So-
pretty sparse.
Oh, that sucked. But I don't know. I just ramble. I can't do interviews because I just